Last night, she abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it is an understatement.
Hold on to your remotes because ESPN just got obliterated from the inside out. And the culprit isn't some scandalous player, it's Molly Qerim herself. Yep, the unshakable, ever-smiling moderator of First Take just dropped a bomb so massive it could crater Bristol, Connecticut. How did a calm, professional TV host manage to blindside an entire sports network, leave Stephen A. Smith speechless, and spark a multi-million-dollar bidding war overnight? Was it sheer genius, revenge, or just a caffeine-fueled plot twist straight out of a Netflix drama? Stick around, because what you're about to hear will make your jaw hit the floor. The cameras were rolling, the debates were heated, and yet nobody had any idea that history was about to be made in Bristol. For over a decade, Molly Qerim had been the calm in the chaotic storm of ESPN's First Take, navigating Stephen A. Smith's bombastic monologues with the poise of a seasoned diplomat. But behind that composed smile, a storm was brewing. A storm that would shake the foundations of sports media and leave executives scrambling in pure panic. Because last night, the unthinkable happened. Molly Qerim didn't just resign. She detonated a career-defining bomb that ESPN wasn't ready for. It all started as another Monday morning, the kind where the coffee is hot, the cameras are rolling, and the ratings are steadily climbing. Molly was doing what she had done for years, moderating, mediating, and somehow making the chaos look elegant. But those months of lowball offers, undervaluation, and subtle slights had built a pressure cooker situation. ESPN thought they could string her along, play the we'll negotiate later game, and eventually convince her to settle for peanuts while Stephen A. Smith continued to rake in multi-million-dollar deals. Classic corporate miscalculation. Then came the leak. A supposedly private contract negotiation exploded across every sports media outlet in America. Suddenly, the quiet professional moderator was front-page news, and instead of waiting for the corporate machine to try and control the narrative, Molly decided to take the reins herself. At exactly 9 a.m., Instagram blew. A post appeared that would make network executives spit out their coffee. With a heavy heart, I'm leaving ESPN and First Take, effective immediately. Thank you for an incredible decade. Immediate. No farewell. No carefully choreographed. Just pure, unfiltered authority. The reaction was instantaneous. Fans went wild, hashtags exploded, and social media turned into a frenzy of speculation. How could one person so completely flip it? Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith was left staring at the empty chair across him, delivering the news with a mix of disbelief and awkward Viewers watched, chopped, as one of the most calculated and respected figures in sports media decided to walk away on her own. Sources close to the network whispered about the months of behind-the-scenes frustration. Low salaries, denied creative input, a role reduced to traffic cop for Stephen A.'s Emmy nominations ignored, ratings boost credited elsewhere, and yet ESPN somehow thought Molly would quietly nod and accept me. But Molly wasn't just leaving the desk. She was sending a message on me. And I'll show you exactly what's missing. By morning, analysts, insiders, and gossip accounts were scrambling to interpret what just happened. Some called it a calculated power move. Others labeled it a revenge plot for years of... But the truth, Molly Qerim recognized her own worth and refused to settle. The dramatic exit, amplified by media, turned her departure into a public spectacle that ESPN had no control over, and the repercussions beginning. And just when you thought it couldn't get tense, the first whispers of a bidding war started circulating. Multiple networks, smelling opportunity, began contacting Molly's teams. Suddenly, the very person ESPN tried to undervalue became the most sought-after star. This wasn't just nation. This was a masterclass in leverage, timing, and power dynamics, and Molly Qerim was conductor. The plot thickened faster than a halftime. Within hours of Molly's explosive Instagram announcement, Molly Qerim was nationwide. Anonymous sources, because of course there are always those shadowy insiders, started leaking details that painted a picture of offices, secret bonuses, and a culture that rewarded loud personalities over actual talent. According to a source familiar with negotiations, wink wink, Molly's proposed ESPN contract offered a paltry sum compared to her co-host, Stephen A. Smith. Yes, the same Stephen A. who reportedly makes $20 million a year, while Molly's contributions to the show's meteoric rise were valued at barely $850,000 annually. Public reactions were a mixture of outrage, admiration, disbelief. Fans flooded her with comments like, "Molly built the show and they treat her like an intern." And finally, someone had the guts to do what we all wanted to do. Meanwhile, Mounts had a field day, photoshopping Molly as a superhero holding the ESPN orders like a toy, while Stephen A. Dawn, bewildered, leaked internal reports. Again, 100% totally for the sake of this story. claimed Molly had repeatedly requested more creative control, fair compensation, and recognition for her role in shaping the show's content, all denied or ignored by management. One allegedly whispered she was underestimated.
Smaller roles.
They thought they could string her along, made them at their own game. Media was ablaze. Hashtag Shamali takes over. ESPN shocked First Take who emerged, with fan polls suggesting that 85% supported Molly's decision, while questioning whether ESPN could survive steadying presence. And let's not forget the faux reports circulating about lavish buses and corporate parties. Allegedly, executives were more concerned with their champagne budgets than valuing the very person-rated show. Meanwhile, Molly's camp remained tight-lipped. The chaos unfold. Every new leak, every post added fuel to the fire. Some alleged she had been secretly negotiating with rival networks, Fox Sports, NBC, all vying for the opportunity to snatch up the woman who had just been upside down. One imaginary source quipped, Molly didn't just leave a job. She detonated a strategic career nuke and scrambling to clean up the mess. The spectacle was unprecedented. Viewers weren't just watching a resignation, they were witnessing a meticulously executed power play, complete with shockwaves that every corner of sports media. And while the executives at ESPN desperately gained control of the narrative, the audience knew the truth. Molly Qerim rewritten the rules of the game. And then came the fallout. The delicious, work-shaking fallout. Within days, reports of multi-million-dollar offers for works began surfacing. Fox Sports, Amazon Prime, and even NBC were suddenly circling, each desperate to snag the woman left ESPN in flames. The numbers were staggering. Base salaries starting at $2 million. Creative control had never been offered before, and lead host status on shows that promised to put her at the center of every major sports conversation. Suddenly, the same network that had undervalued her was watching helplessly as her marketed overnight. Inside ESPN, panickedly at an all-time high. Executives scrambled, trying to spin her departure as a mutual evidence or a natural career step. But the leaks, social media outrage, and the sheer audacity of the move made it impossible to control. One imaginary insider claimed, "It's like watching someone walk out with down and demand the world in return. Honestly, she deserves it." Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith's awkward on-air statements, full of careful compliments and hesitant pauses, only highlighted the void left by Molly's absence. Fans had a field day. Social media exploded with theories, memes, and Molly's cunning. She conquered. ESPN just learned you underestimate a queen. The online community was unanimous. Molly had turned what should have been a professional career-defining power play. And with every new contract offer, narrative only grew more dramatic. A woman sidelined, undervalued, and boxed in by a toxic power structure was sought-after star in sports media. Even the hypothetical analysts couldn't resist chiming in, speculating about potential investigations and corporate shakeups. Some fake reports suggested that her departure could trigger reviews of gender pay disparities and hierarchies within ESPN. Was revolution? Maybe. Or maybe what she had always deserved. Either way, the network took a hit that wouldn't be aired. Of the week, one thing was clear. Molly Qerim hadn't just left ESPN. She had redefined the rules of power, coverage, and negotiation in sports media. She had routine resignation into a global spectacle, leaving networks scrambling, fans cheering, and ESPN executives every single decision they made. Best part? Molly wasn't done. This was only the beginning. Can you believe what just happened? Molly Qerim didn't just leave ESPN. She shook the entire sports media world to its core. What would you do if you were in her shoes? Would you play it safe or walk away and demand the respect you deserve? Now it's your turn to weigh in. Drop your thoughts in the comments, debate the strategy, and tell us, was this genius, revenge, or something else entirely? Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more explosive insider stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a jaw-dropping reveal.